side because you're on that screen, but my notes are here. So then it's going to look like I'm talking to you directly. So hopefully it works. So tonight, show my, okay, cool. Tonight we have chapter 6 that are on the Spring of Life from Chico and Manuel. And the chapter 6 talks about Living Spring, sorry. Gee, thanks. Talks about accept correction. So we're gonna read through the chapter and then we're gonna, oops, I have to click here so it works. So no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Yet, afterward, it wields a peaceful harvest of righteousness for those trained by it. So that's Paul, Hebrews 12:11. And then Emmanuel kind of explained that part of the Bible for us on his words. And as Colleen commented last week that about his being very, what was the word you use it? Like very firm, I would say. Was that what you, I think wasn't that word that you used, but was something around that you used last week. So, and so you can still see that, but I kind of, when I was reading, I felt a little bit of, that bit more gentle tone as well, how he compared to like the nature and the things. So you're going to get it when we read through. So I'm going to read through what Emmanuel has to say about that chapter of the Bible. So the earth, pressed by the plow, tears and renders, yet in a short while from his smoothed furrows, flowers and delightful fruits emerge. The tree, under the regime of pruning, loses vast reserves of sap, weakening and deforming, yet within a few weeks, it bursts forth with renewed vigor, ready for beauty and abundance. Humble water leaves the comfort of its spring, endures the demands of motion, reaches the mighty river, and eventually partakes in the grandeur of the sea. What happens is the simple sphere of nature occurs also in the complex realm of the soul. Correction is always harsh, unpleasant, and bitter. Yet, for those who embrace it, light, it brings blessed fruits of experience, knowledge, understanding, and justice. The earth, the tree, and the water endure it through constraint. But man, the champion of intelligence on planet, it's free to receive it and make it part of his own heart. The problem of personal happiness, therefore, can never be solved by fleeing the corrective process. Celestial corrections manifest itself across all corners of the earth, yet few accept its blessings. For such a gift rarely comes wrapped in velvet, and when it reaches the lips, it seldom tastes like a sweet treat. It appears clothed in thorns and laced with bitterness, serving as a curative and salutary remedy. Do not, therefore, squander your precious opportunities for growth. Pain and obstacles, labor and struggle are instruments of refinement, and it's up to us to embrace them fully. So this is Emmanuel words about correction. What things that sometimes feels like a pain, but it comes because it's necessary for us. So when I was reading and thinking and, about what that comes, the first thing that came in mind was kind of that image. So on this image, it's like if we have two, like the scene is like probably the child made something that wasn't, correct. So the mom needs to correct the child. So from the child point of view, she's suffering because she was denied something, and now she have to endure through a lecture, maybe sit on timeout, maybe clean up, who knows? You can like let your imagination go free with that one. And from the mom's point of view, is like, is her job, sorry, to correct that action. The child need guidance, the child need boundaries, needs limits to learn. Even though most of the moms here, I believe, and I can consider myself a mom, because when I have to correct that little white thing that on my background here, it really hurts my heart sometimes, because you look at their face and they're so cute and so pretty, and then you're gonna say, how am I gonna say no to that? It's so cute, but you have to. It's painful for the child, and it's painful for the mom as well. Of course it is at some degree, but it's necessary. For the child to grow without correction, it's going to learn no boundaries, no limits, no respect, no value of things. And I'm not just telling material things, because they could break something. You need to explain, like sometimes you need to work to achieve few things, and that cost and all that comes with that. But also like moral things, like, disrespect, like how to argue about something you need, that you want, all of that. Like life is full of lessons when you have to go through, like teaching a little human to grow and be a good human being. So we have to understand, and the text tells us, that correction is not a punishment. It is an opportunity for learning and transformation, either for the child to learn how to grow and, and mold like herself as a human being, and for the parents as well, because as everybody said, that there is no manual how to be a parent. You learn on the go, you're doing your best, you're correcting, even though it's painful. So it's a lesson for all of us on that journey. And this is just one example. You can get teachers and students, you can get I don't know, you name it. There's heaps of example on that, but that was the first image for me when I was reading through the text about correction, like how I can see myself being corrected. And I say, okay, maybe this example of mom and kids. So I think that was really, that was my first thought about that. So the text as well talks about the natures. And that was when I thought Emmanuel was a bit kind to us, to kind of do the compare, like the changes that we know it's necessary, like for the nature to grow through corrections and challenge. So that sometimes the nature has to go to pain, like when you're preparing the soil, so you're ripping everything, you have to prepare, or when you're cutting a tree, seems like you're putting down, or when you have like little water that goes through rocks and challenge like little rivers here and there until it gets to the main goal, that is the sea. So the nature is showing us that sometimes this correction, this challenge that they go through, that is part of nature, is just part of the growth of the beauty, the transformations. Without that, we don't have the abundance. Without the water going through the pathway to find the sea, it's not going to shape the earth. It's not going to water like places. It's not going to have water to offer animals. Without us pruning the trees, if we don't prune a tree, we are denying them the opportunity to go strong, to make more branches out of it. So it's how nature take this challenge, this pain, and grows and make it stronger. So it shows us that sometimes it's painful, but then it's part of life. And then it's up to us to look at the nature and embrace like the nature do, and make us stronger. Any comment until here? No? Okay. So obstacles and challenge shapes character. So when we're going through, as we are referring to the nature here, when we cut a tree, I'm not to show you guys, you know, those what is that? Bonsai. Yeah, the Japanese thing. You know, you can guide the tree to grow the way that you want it. You kind of, you know, prune and cut and put it together and fix like branches together. So it guides them to grow. So in the same sense, for us, when we get some obstacles in our way, it challenges us to grow and challenge us to shape who we are. So according to the things, and can be painful sometimes, as I think we already talked about that on the chapter 1 when we are doing this study. Sometimes it's painful, you know. For example, when we decide to have to leave Brazil, our main goal was always Australia. And most of you know that our visa was denied the first time. And so we have a massive challenge in front of us. We have to, in a month, change the whole plan. And we went to New Zealand and wasn't an easy path. But looking back nowadays with the little wisdom that that I acquired through my years, I can see, like, even though it was painful, was really painful many nights, I cried a lot of tears, like through, you know, exhaustions of working many hours, uncertainty of the future. But you have to embrace that, have the courage, have the faith, and face it and give your best. You know, it's just like this. It's just about. It's just like that Miley Cyrus songs. It's not about. It's not about the to get there. It's about the climb. It's about the pathway that you're going through. It's not about your end goal, but it's about to enjoy the journey and make the best of the path that you're choosing, the path that you're going through. So that helps you to shape who you are. The same way a mom, when it's kind of correcting a child, is helping to shape that child to be the adult that she wishes that child to be, like, you know, respectful, you know, good principles, good manners, you know, all of those good things that we kind of wanted to have as a society, as a human being, so we can progress and be, you know, living peaceful in a society. So sometimes those painful pathways that we encounter in our journey are necessary to help us to build resilience, even though for many, many times at that point when we are suffering and we are going through that pain, we don't realize that. And so it's that moment that we have to try to remember, as the text point us to us, like just like the nature, the water cannot go through the rock, but can pass now around it, you know. And while it's helping to shape the riverbank, is helping to shape the rock as well, because within time, the water passing through for many, many years, that rock's gonna change as well. It's gonna shape, it's gonna be different. So nature's proved to us that constant challenge, constant correction, constant change help to shape nature and improve. You know, without that, we would not have the sand if the rock didn't, like, you know, succumb to the power of the water through the many, many years. And so on with many other examples from natures. So corrections sometimes are bitter and uncomfortable. But guess what? If we're comfortable where we are, we never would move. We're never going to experience something different. We never would exploring other things. So in that sense, uncomfortable is good. You know, it helps us move. It helps us to embrace, to have the courage to go, even though sometimes it's like, is life throwing you things and you have to find a way to have the courage and go. But yeah, so correction, and have the correction, you know, and learn and adjust like your path, adjust the route that you're going to take, learning from the other corners that you turn on your path. And that will help you to update your database, so update your wisdom and make better decisions for the next corner that you're going to turn, you know. So that's the beauty of the correction through the life, and that's the beauty of have those lessons through our lives and through our past lives as well. That's the conscious that we are born with, is that feeling that we have, that I'm not too sure about this, I'm feeling this and that about this specific situation. That's your conscious talking to you about, okay, you probably been there at some point on your past existence, and now your conscious is kind of trying to guide you to choose a better path. That's why you have sometimes those insights, and I say, oh, I think it's better if I do that way. Oh, maybe I should say no, maybe I should say yes. So, and those decisions sometimes uh, make you face uncomfortable situations. And that is the only way we're going to produce experience, knowledge, and gain experience to keep progressing. So, and the beauty of that is, like Emmanuel tells us, is like different from nature. We can choose to resist or to embrace. The water, there is no choice for the water to leave the spring and goes all the way to the ocean. It's nature. It has to go. But us, because we have the intelligence and the gift of free will, we are the only beings that we have the power to decide, to choose, to resist, or to embrace. To resist or to embrace. We have the power to choose. So that's when we have to learn to trust, to see through the process, as Colleen always tells us, and especially me, just breathe, take a moment, look, analyze the situation. Why I'm feeling this? Why is this pain? Why am I attached to this pain? Why I'm feeling that I cannot choose a different path? Or, so it's about us to trust the process and trust that everything that we encounter is part of the growth that we have to go through. And I know, there is many examples about, if you ask me, so what about like why someone was part of an accident, or someone is part of, unfortunately, suffer like the end of their lives through some violence and so on, or wars, or everything. This is a very complex web of things in the world. And I truly believe it's still linked to that choice of resist and embrace, challenge or painful. And sometimes some people cannot see through the pain and choose poorly. And that kind of creates that effect, the burblet effect, or the effect burblet. Butterfly, yeah, sorry, butterfly effect. That's the one, when unfortunately some people that is still not yet capable to understand the process, that challenge and trust to love and trust the process and have faith in something, unfortunately choose poorly. And that creates like a chain of reactions that kind of affect us. Then it's up to us to analyze that and understand what I can do to change that, what I can learn from that, what corrections should I take to make that different. And we see that through correction, things change. If you look on more material aspect, like through the years has been heavily campaigning about, for example, environment, the change on the environment, like what is the thing that when the earth is super getting hot too much, there's a problem.
Greenhouse effect.
What?
Greenhouse
effect. Okay, that's my assistant over here. So through the years, like we live our lives and without worry about rubbish, without cutting trees and blah blah blah. Then science came in and say, look, you're choosing poorly. We need to correct this action. Otherwise, this and that's going to be the consequences. So there was a work that being made through years to educate a child and blah, blah, blah. And then we are going through maybe a generation or two. So nowadays, people are more conscious about, the effects of the change on the environment, like about how to dispose your rubbish, how to choose wisely, how to reduce the plastics, how to recycle. And that's just one example of choices that we made that create pain. On this case, we're destructing our own place that we live, that is Earth. A correction was needed. So people need to understand that, correct the way, change, choose wisely other options, so we could kind of, revert or get to a different pathway that is that it's different from immediate destruction of Earth in 100 years. Maybe gonna give us more like 200, like, I don't know, What I'm trying to get here is about pain sometimes show us and force us to choose wisely. So it's up to us how we see that pain, like that painful or that correction that we need to change, because it's really hard for us to change, to accept that. One other example, for example, that was terrible phrase. One other example is, one other example is, pause. Who here have tried to teach or correct an elderly or an elder person with technology? How painful is that? And how painful is for that elderly person to comprehend the changes of technology, how to navigate the society that we live today, that is full, like, either you really embrace and be part of that, or it's painful to do banking, to do a lot of things that today it's more like online. So you see how painful it is for that person, a simple actions to correct the brain, to realize for today to live and to do banking things, you don't have to go there personally. You need to learn to go through your online
Online banking.
online banking, online gadgets to get that done. And it's painful, I still from here sometimes have to have my mom with her passwords. And I said, Mom, remember we saved it? She's like, no, I don't remember. I don't know how to do it. Actually, I don't need to go too far away, because I do the same thing with things that I don't have experience with computer, because my knowledge is limited as well. How many times I go to Alex and I say, I don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it. And he's like, you need to learn. And I say, I don't want to. I still sometimes do the same thing that I'm kind of complaining about my mom, and I do the same with Alex, because I don't want to do it, because I don't want to learn, because it's painful. I don't want to remember. I don't want to change the way I do things. But it's either I have to convince or bribe him to do it for me, or I have to learn. And then if I don't correct myself or don't embrace and choose wisely, it will be painful in the future, because if I don't have him, then I'm screwed. Then I didn't learn when I have the opportunity, didn't take that as opportunity to learn and to grow, and I will suffer double. So it seems silly examples, but if we try to apply the concept on our spiritual life, and even little things about understand that correction, when someone corrects you, your action, or try to guide you through a process on your work, on your family, on your spiritual life, take a deep breath in and trust that corrections sometimes are necessary, and it's the only way to keep moving forward. And then when you accept that you think maybe it's impossible, you're never going to change.
She's gone. She probably went to change something.
But it's so excited. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I drop you guys.
we are commenting that you went to change something.
See, it's just a correction, a little correction I was doing. Okay, I'm gonna share again. I lost the recording now, but that's all right. Aye.
When you start talking about old people, become concerned. I start to get concerned. Yeah, you might be talking about me.
Okay. Okay. Presenting again. And now Oh, yeah. So sorry, peeps. Okay, share. I was on my last slide. Share. Window. Presentation. Here's the presentation. Direito em cima. Share. So you should be seeing my presentation. Show my screen anyway. Okay. So that was my last slide. So again, recap now. When we think about the corrections, I lose the track of my speech now, and accept that it's necessary, and the things that we thought were impossible, then we realize after we grasp the concept, okay, I will trust the process. It's painful. I have to change. I have to move forward. But then you realize that the impossible, it's become possible. That's the only way for us to achieve things. Not the only way. Well, it seems very, what is the word here? Bold of me to say that, but it's a way, it's one of the many gifts, many opportunities that God gave us about when we use this correction of the trajectory that we are taking, or when we learn, when we correct ourselves, when we insist and learn, insist on take that lesson and okay, what I can do regarding that, what good I can take from this. It's when when what we thought was impossible becomes possible. For example, using my personal life on this, when I was like 10, 12, whatever, kind of that age, I always dream about live abroad, live in another country. Even though English was impossible for me, I could barely speak English when I left Brazil when I was 25 years old. And for Dai, that was 12 years old, in a very small city in Brazil, it was impossible to live in another country and speak another language, So through my life, on that specific example, I have to make choices. I have to correct few things on me. I have to go through painful experience as learn English, because trust me, it was a bit painful, and it still is, because I still make mistakes with the language, but I'm here, and something that was impossible for Dai at 12 years old, now is possible. I'm living in this beautiful country, experiencing beautiful things. But again, looking back, was well worth it, Could I have done better? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. It's not about like the final goal. It's about the trajectory. It's about enjoy your process, enjoy your journey, learn through it, embrace, trust, and keep moving forward. Accept the corrections that life throws at you. Remember, you have to cut the tree for it to grow. So if you take that to our life, sometimes we have to cut a few things from our lives, cut some people, maybe cut some, I don't know, we have to give up a few things on our lives, like taking out of our range so we can grow and be stronger. So when you have to make some decisions on that sense, like it's painful to let it go, someone, a situation, something, just trust in God, take a deep breath in, meditate on it, and remember of the tree. If we don't cut the tree, we are kind of denying it the possibility to grow stronger, so that's just one example that nature and then Emmanuel on this text gives to us. So we always have to be able to trust the process and understand that correction, even though sometimes it's painful, is one tool that God gives us to grow and go there and make it possible. So that's my final slides. So anyone would like to make a comment, add something? Feel free to it.
May I say thank you, Di? Always so brilliantly energetic and inspired. Yes. Often the process of connecting with how we live, with our thought processes, with our belief systems, requires for us to let go, as you say, to cut our imagery of others, our judgment of others, the way in which we interact with others if we indulge in, say, talking about others in a bad way. So when we cut that out of our conversation, many people are left thinking, what else is there to talk about if we can't talk about others? So this requires for each of us to re-examine how we communicate. And it does require a lot of investment in the process. Yes, we actually have to almost release a part of our identity, our character. Oh, I'm so fun. I have the gossip on this person and that person. It makes me feel wanted and accepted and popular because I have, yes, I have such a bouncy kind of, yes, connection with the world. And boy, can I dish out the trash on everyone. I have an opinion on everything. But then if we say, wow, this doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve others, how then do we reinvent ourselves if not through the love of, yes, the Christ himself? To sit in this generosity of space, of time, generosity of heart. Yes. Releasing these kinds of tendencies that we have indulged in, they become almost a part of us, habitual. Yes, it is a tough road because we have invested our whole life into thinking this is who I am, this is who I've become. People like me because of this, and this. And then to realize that these traits are not serving others nor ourselves any good. Yes. It is fascinating. People say it is hard, but it is worse than letting it go. Because in letting it go and embracing love as the only way, releases us from that sense of guilt, that sense of blame, that sense of holding others and ourselves accountable. The burden that we carry around with us is extraordinary. So pruning ourselves actually is cutting back all of the dead wood. The stuff has held us down. Yes. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry for taking up time, but
All right.
it is for each of us to not burden ourselves with changing, because we will, all of us are headed towards the ocean. We cannot hold the waters back. So yes, we may get stressed that we will never get there, but always the water will find its way. We are promised, we are given reassurances that we are all on a trajectory towards love. the more we hold out, the more bitter and yes, we become. But in the end, we will surrender to it. Yes, it just takes for all of us to commit to our journey, but also to helping others along the way. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Or is anyone else would like to add anything?
Yeah, I might add that the worst changes are the changes that we realize as opposed to be pointed. And those are the worst because are changes that we realize we need to do it. Otherwise, you're not going ahead in whatever we found when we realize we have to change. And sometimes they are very painful, very, very painful. Changes pointed by others always has an objective. Sometimes it's not even us. It's improvement, it's the rate of progress. And sometimes, is, as you said, just mentioned, is the change in the whole society. Yeah, like technology evolve, and we need to engage. We may need to engage, or you may just need ignore it. And if you can manage the absence, the consequences of the absence, then yeah, then you're okay. But the worst changes are the changes that comes with our out self-knowledge, the and then we start facing all things that we realize we need to change. Another thing as well is when we are the agent of the changes or the agent of the requirement of a change, like we are the parents of a child, we also need to be mindful in how to deliver that, to be effective and not to cause resentment or, so any kind of bad or not that good result because of the way we did it. And sometimes the intention is good, but the delivery is not that good. And sometimes the request for the change is not, how can I say, the intended result by pointing a change become less than the damage we cause when we deliver the request. All right, so that's it. Yeah.
All right, then, Yips. You want to say something, Angela?
Yes, just wanted to add that, in fact, the obstacles that we find on our way, we really realize that these are the moments of growth. If we cross those difficulties, trusting in God and confident that there must be a reason for that obstacle to be there at that moment. Later on, I'm talking about my life experience. Later on, we realized that, there was, it was that time that I needed to cross that.
Oh, you muted. You muted yourself.
Sorry. I mean, the obstacle is there at that time that we need to face that difficulty, not a year before or a year later. There must be a reason why it's that time. And if we analyze ourselves, and then we see the two things, that there must be a reason for that precise time. And secondly, that is only through those difficulties that we realize that we have grown. I can face this thing, I can resolve that problem. If everything goes smoothly, we don't even have the opportunity to use all our capacity. So difficulties are important to help us understand that we have some potential and we can address some problems in life.
Beautiful, Angela. Thank you. Thank you all. So tonight I didn't organize like a ready meditation. I want to do a prayer for us. So for us to breathe in and understand ourselves and assimilate these corrections, these challenges that we face.
Recording still on? Turn it off.
Yeah.
The recording is still on?
Oh, the record is still on. Oh, I didn't drop. Ah, but it's okay. It's just a prayer. It's not something from the YouTube, so they're not gonna drop our channel. So it's fine. So I just would like to then invite you all guys so we can have a final prayer and take a deep breath in and take a moment to let all the words that we share here tonight to settle in our hearts. Sometimes those challenges, the corrections that we have to make on our trajectory through life, and the pain and the moments of resilience that we have to face, they are there not because God wants us to suffer. No, they are there because they are important to us for lessons, things that we're going to learn, people that we're going to meet, people that we will let it go. It's just part of this beautiful journey of our soul. So if you are here, experience this, talking about it, reflecting, look back in your life for those moments of pain, moments of joy, moments of creation, things that force you to change your way, change your decision. Look back and be grateful. It's not about the final outcome, because that's a worry for tomorrow. The bird just trust in God because know that God's gonna feed them tomorrow. We know that our goal, it's beautiful. It's already there. God already let us know, as Colleen already commented to us. Our goal is love. So don't worry about the final. Just look back and be grateful. I know sometimes it's really, really, really hard to connect to that moment. Accept the pain. Accept to forgive. Be humble to ask for forgiveness. To let it go. To detach for those memories. And it's okay if you're not ready to do that now. But the beauty is that you're correcting yourself already. You're willing to look back and analyze, to trust those memories to God. That's going to help you. It's going to help to heal your heart. It's going to help you to let it go, to move forward, to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to open space for the new. Just trust the process. Take a deep breath in. And let's say thank you, God. Thank you for this beautiful opportunity. Even though sometimes you're not ready, we know we can trust in you and everything is perfect. We will get there. And we know you're going to hold us all the way. We are grateful for this opportunity. We are grateful for the mentors that always surround us with love, kindness, support, safety all the way, every day. Thank you. We are grateful for this beautiful land that gives us the opportunity, that connect us, that allowing us to have those meetings. Even though we are connecting online, we are connecting through our hearts, through our soul. And we are grateful for that. We are grateful for this beautiful land and the original tutors of this land with their spirit knowledge of this land and the nature. We are grateful for allowing us to be here, to experience your culture and your country. We are grateful for the mentors of this house that protects us, guide us through all the moments. Thank you so much. Thank Jesus to showing us the way, and thank you, dear Lord, to all the opportunities that you gave us. And with our hearts full of love, light, we take another deep breath in and say, Amen. So be it. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dai. Very good. Very good.
Let us
Okay.
let our hearts trust the process, trust the pain. Like it's just like the gym. No pain, no gain. So let's keep moving on that. And I see you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Dai. Thank you all.
Thank
Have a nice week.
You too.